Hey, Bill Poole, what's going on? Omar, how you doing? DM, what's up? No, we currently only have 1917s, and this is our first 26. Yep, we finally made the 26. We got to go range test it, do a few improvements, but we're getting close to full production. Oh, thank you for the likes, guys. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, we're gonna have a conversation about it at the shop over the weekend. But to be honest, it looks like we might just stop shipping entirely to California. Because California is just, fucking up royal. They are anti-constitution, anti-freedom. They want you to be little sheeple. And they're going to do everything in their power to keep the people disarmed. Hey, 10X Shooters, how you doing, man? Yeah, we probably will come the end of this year. Unless we can figure out some kind of way around it. Californians have done it to themselves. There's so little we can do to help the 2A supporters in California. Californians have done this to themselves. I don't know why Californians are so stupid. I don't know why they hate the Constitution. I don't know why they hate this country, but they do. I know there's a few guys, in California that are trying, but Californians are a whole new level of fucked up. They love living in a police state. I mean, look at their cops and the laws they enforce. It's just revenue generation. Of course, they hate you being armed. Their gun enforcement is honestly kind of racist, too. Look at gun laws and how they were enforced in California. It's racism against black people. Californians are racist. They need to be called out for their audacity. Just as a people, Californians are royal fuck-ups. And I've got people ask, hey, man, is there anything you can do? When the whole barrel thing came out, for those of you not aware, and if you're just joining us this morning, California passed a law requiring background checks for detachable barrels. And Californians were asking, is there anything you can do to keep shipping to us? No. Your state will sue us. Your state will just sue us. We can't. And since California will just print money, it's not like we could fight them in a money duel, Annexate. I wouldn't want to annex California. The last fun time I had in California, I was hanging out in Death Valley with the U.S. Army, and I was armed with a saw. So I was legally carrying a machine gun in California. And for those of you that have been there, in the battlefields of Atropia, you know how much that sucks. And that was my best time in California. I hope not, 10x shooters. We honestly hope not. It's just for some reason, Californians hate your right to be armed. But the issue is that I see that they will blame police for racism and shootings and oppressing the people, but then they will turn around and say, but only the cops should have guns. Make that make sense. And of course, here we are saying everyone should have guns. Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, liberals, religious people, atheists, blah, blah, blah. Everybody. Everybody should have guns. You're straight, you're gay, I don't care. You should have a gun. You're an American, Second Amendment, get a gun. To put it from our perspective is that myself, Stiffler, a few of the other employees, we served in the military, and we do not have a desire to inflict harm upon the citizenry. And we do not want the citizenry to deal with the ravages that would be war in your own streets. It is a horror I do not wish upon you all. So I honestly hope it does not happen. It should be a simple discussion, but they are not making it simple.
Where you at, cat?
The little monster is attacking my cords again. And my slides. But this morning we are shipping a slide. I'm getting one shipped out to Maryland this morning. I'm also sending one out to Virginia. And of course we have our 26. For those of you new, we have just started making the 26. We've still got to go do some range testing. But our SM26 turbo, front grip serrations, top ported window, Trigicon RMR flat optic cut, designed to fit with the Glock 26. This one here, of course, you can shoot it as is right now, but it needs to be processed. It needs to be sanded. It needs to be a little extra deburring work done. It needs to be cleaned, coated, cured, and then it'll be good to go. Kip drippers. What do I think about Glock? I understand what they're doing from a business standpoint, because we ourselves are a business. But I can also say I'm disappointed. I would hope they would fight harder on it, but I understand it. Same thing with Ruger, with what they're doing with the RXM, where Ruger has been threatened with a cease and desist by Everytown. I hope Ruger fights. If Ruger does fight, I will go buy an RXM, and I would recommend other people do, if Ruger fights. It's like a bad historical movie, but I'm sure people have seen The Patriot, and you've got that line from Mel Gibson, where it won't be some battle, it won't be some war fought on a distant battlefield, and I'm paraphrasing. But it will be in our streets and in our homes, and your children will see it. So, it's not something I want for any of you. And if it happens, it happens, but it's not something I want. And I think a lot of veterans probably feel similar about that. Hey, thank you, Alan. Yep, little cat. Do we review 1911s and 2011 units? No, we don't work on them. We're actually a manufacturer. So what we do is we take bars of steel, like this here, 17.4 stainless, and we mill it down into slides like this. And then those get deburred, sanded, cleaned, coated, cured, and then they get turned into slides, you know, like this, with some Cerakote. We don't do anything with the 45, Rich, but you can fit the 19s on the 45. They're very similar slides. They can fit on the same frames. I'd recommend looking up some videos like from RTT Guns and Gears. He goes and explains how to like put a Gen 3 on a 19X, for example, as well as some others where they explain how to swap up and down from Gen 3 to Gen 4 to Gen 5, as well as different platforms. Like, you can even fit a 19 on a 26 frame. Glock is like Legos. You just got to swap a few parts out. And you might need some adapter parts, but yeah, Glock is Legos. It very well might, Bill, and all I can say is just people shouldn't hope for it. Because once it happens, it's not something you can take back. They range from 145 to 285, Rich, depending on if it's a strip slide, complete slide. So stripped like this, where it's just the slide, no channel liner, to complete slide, ignore the optic, where it will have an ELD performance barrel, will have an upper parts kit from SCT Manufacturing, and it will have sights from Glock OEM. Ignore the optic. We don't sell those. We got this from Siley Optics. We're testing it out. 10X Shooters timeline on the 26. I'm hoping this month. Because right here we have a 26. We just need to go to the range and test fire it and see if there's any improvements we need to do to it. And we've got a couple other ones currently being machined, so that once those are ready, we're going to take all of them to the range and just dump hundreds of rounds. And if everything works right, and if everything feels right, like we don't think there's any improvements to be made, then we'll start production. G-Lock, Glock. What's going on, man? Yeah, feel free to check us out at Stiffler Manufacturing. Right now, we're running a Veterans Day sale up until the 12th. So it's 20% off our red, white, or blue strip slides. Yeah, this one here is our 26. Still working on it. This one here is our 19. And, you know, it's coated in OD camo, mil-spec OD green, desert sand, Glock FDE. But we do some other stuff, too, so less tactical stuff. Like this tiger stripe camo, utilizing hunter orange and graphite black. Some Tony the Tiger Bangles type stuff right there. Hey, I appreciate you, 10X. You might still need suppressor height sights, depending on the optic you get. Now, this one here with the Siley, I'll try to show it. Here we go. Okay, so we got the red dot on, and it's a little difficult, but the rear sight is almost just too short, but I can still utilize it. So depending on the optic you get, you might need suppressor height sights. Yeah, it's almost just too short. Yep, Trigicon RMR flat. No, nothing for the Glock 30 yet. Currently, we only do the 19 and the 17, and we're just getting into the beginning phases of doing the 26. After the 26, we plan to do a 43. Oh, thank you, 10X. Yeah, we have, obviously YouTube, but we're also on Rumble to a lesser degree. I'm planning on making more videos on Rumble at some point. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're all over social media. Videos and reels and shorts of our CNC machine running, of us doing Cerakote painting. And we've even got a few of us just out at the range. It very well might, and actually we're trying to get different bars because, just to show a comparison, here is the 26. Let's see if I can hold that. Look how much extra is left. This is a 19 bar, and we are trying to get some steel companies to ship us some shorter bars, but they say there's a production delay. So we're dealing with cutting 19 bars down into 26s, and that's just wasting steel. Plus the 19 bars are more expensive than a shorter bar would be. No, we don't do custom work on other people's slides yet. We might do that sometime in the future. Currently, our machine shop is set up for volume production, so we make a few hundred slides a week. And if we were to stop production to do custom work, we'd stop production on at least 50 slides. And that just, that math don't math. Blessed and Armed, yes, we sell our slides to Delta. And yeah, we have an eBay store as well as a website. You can actually find our slides, well, of course, on Gunbroker, but Optics Planet, Delta Team Tactical, MMC Armory, Davidson Defense, Wolverine Arms, No Quarter Innovations, 3CR Tactical, The Hub, Sirius Arms. I think the Gonzalez Arms Company has some as well. RB Tactical Market, Task Force Red, and there's a few more out there. Oh, nice. Yeah, let us know when you do that video. I'll happily watch that. I love watching people's builds and seeing them check stuff out at the range. Some people, especially with the Viper here, some people really like doing like FRTs and binary triggers and G-flexes with this one and various stuff. Oh yeah, check, this one here's a 17. This is one of our base models. SM26 zoom. Not fancy, just runs. Has your optics cut, front grip serrations for grip. No ported windows, no fancy designs, just runs. But then we've got, some more of our stuff like the Hellet, which has top grip serrations, some side design work. You've got our Turbo here, which has our top ported window. And then the Viper, which has proven to be pretty popular, side windows, so you can have different porting options for your barrel, as well as a little bit of design work on that side breech wall. Which is something cool that you can do with 17.4 stainless that you can't really do with like 416R or lesser steels, is there's more work you can do to the slide, more design work. And we've got a couple other models that are out there, like the Leonidas or the Flash. They're not currently in regular production, but you can still find them out there. Oh, thank you. Yeah, those are our two top-selling slides, is the Viper and Turbo. The Viper, probably the #1 overall. We've been in business almost 3 years now. The Turbo, especially once we started doing camo, the Turbo became very popular. Alan, are you familiar with WeTech Glock TMSS airsoft design? Can we replicate? We try not to replicate other people's products. It's difficult to do sometimes because so many designs are similar. But we don't do anything with airsoft. All these are real, and we try not to replicate another business's design. Yes, if you're getting, and this is a thing to remember with the Viper, is that it's got 3 ported windows, so that's weight reduction. So you might need a lighter recoil spring assembly than standard OEM to cycle this properly. It depends on what your build is going to be. But with the Viper, because of the weight reduction, you might need a lighter recoil spring. So that's always something to factor in when you're doing your build is what poundage is your recoil spring? What are you putting on the slide? Are you stacking tolerances? And then, you know, where are you getting your parts from? If you buy all your stuff from Temu, you're probably going to have some problems. The Leonidas does have weight reduction, Bill, so you might need a lighter recoil spring, but I have a Leonidas that I've put over 1,000 rounds through, and I use the standard OEM recoil spring. Oh, this one, I actually have a standard OEM. I mean, it's made by SET Manufacturing for their upper parts kit, but it's the OEM recoil spring weight. And no problems with it. This one, I have 800 rounds through it right now. I actually carry this one. Which, if I remember right, on the 19, I think the recoil spring rate is 15. If I remember right. But for the Viper, I know some people step it down to 13. Hey, right on, Alan. Not a bad way to go, blessed and arm. Not a bad way to go at all. Yeah, SCT Manufacturing is who we get our parts kits from, and they're not bad. They're good parts, but Glock OEM is better. Same thing with the ELD Performance barrel we have. Is it match grade? No. Is it a good barrel? Yeah, it'll get you running. It'll work great at the range. This one here, I've got like probably, let's see, at least 800 rounds on this build, and then I think like 500 on another with this barrel. Runs just fine. I mean, if you're doing competitions or something, get yourself a match grade barrel. Make sure it's fitted to the slide. But if you're just doing regular range work, yeah, ELD Performance will do fine. And then you can always upgrade later. It's a great thing about Glock is you can always upgrade something later. Yeah, there were some bad ones going around a couple of years ago. Back when we started in, 2023, early 2023. There were some real bad firing pins going around to a lot of businesses that a lot of distributors were pushing them because they got pushed on them from some like cheap manufacturers. And it's like, oh, cheap product that works. You know, let's push it. And that's where people were having issues on eBay and a few others where they were getting bad firing pins or they were getting bad UPKs or LPKs. And so now everyone's sketched out OEM only. And it's like, no, there's some good ones out there that are not OEM. You just got to look and, you know, do your research and check on the business that's making them. And if there is an issue, make sure that they do a good warranty replacement policy. Like if someone ever had an issue with one of our parts kits, we'll just replace it for you. Just let us know. Because we had one guy, and we called SCT about it, and we told him, like, hey, one of the recoil springs in one of your kits was off. And so we just replaced one. And they're like, okay, yeah, just mail it back to us and we'll get you some new ones out. You know, real simple. Check your parts kits. Make sure everything is aligned correctly on that bill. Also check your ammo and inspect your firing pin. Also make sure nothing is impacting your EDP. Yeah, Lone Wolf has some good ones. Nothing for the 34 yet. We might do a 30. I mean, a 34 is just a longer 17. So we got to get longer steel. And then we got to change the fixtures in the machine. So yeah, we might do 34 sometime in the future. Or 17Ls, or both. Cat? You just clawed my freaking calf. What the hell? Thinks my calf is a scratching post. Silly cat. Some other ones I've seen is like Tactical Pontoon and Superior Trigger. They make good trigger kits. Johnny Glock, I've seen some good ones from. For now, it seems like 10x shooters. The issue with California is that they're requiring us to check IDs and do age verification on our website. And that would require a website redesign, and I'm not sure we want to do it. And I'm also not sure we want to accidentally maintain records of people's IDs. Because I don't want that to be a thing down the road where it's like, oh, Stiffler Manufacturing got hacked and all of a sudden people, like something that should have been deleted just somehow didn't. Or if we use a third party and the third party is crap, you know, they screw up down the road and people's IDs are just out there in the wind. Yeah, Rich, same with the, like if you get a PSA dagger, some people don't like it, polish up all the metal contacts and you're good to go. Especially anything, really. You know, polish your rails, polish your contacts, and, you know, you're basically getting rid of the break-in period. And a good way to check is, you know, you can run your thumbnail along your metal contacts, and if you get any catches, you know, run your thumbnail, run your fingernail along them. If your nail catches on any catches, that's where you want to possibly polish. California largely keeps the Gen 3 market alive because Gen 4 and Gen 5 were illegal in California. So we did get a lot of individual sales to California. Yeah, be careful on the slide lock when you're polishing. Because these are Gen 3 slides, which, you know, with little modification, very little. It's very easy. You can swap it onto a Gen 4 or Gen 5. Most of Glock's innovation changes between Gen 4 and Gen 5 were on their frame. And then, yes, of course, they changed their recoil spring in the Gen 4 to Gen 5. But you get a recoil spring adapter for a step down or a step up, and you change out the back plate. And for the Gen 5, because it's ambi, you maybe change out the slide lock release, and yeah, and that's, some people don't even change that out, but you can or you can't, whatever your preference would be on that. And then boom, your Gen 3 slide fits on a Gen 4, fits on a Gen 5. Or in the case of a 19, fits on Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, X, and even the Glock 45. Oh, yeah, yeah. We used to be in New York long time ago, like 30 years ago. And, yeah, we're in Arizona. We call Arizona home. Definitely not New York. We got a few people who want to do a 22. But we also got to evaluate whether or not our distributors want it and if people will actually buy it. That's like the thing, like people ask us, hey, are you going to do a 23? Are you going to do a 22? Are you going to do a 21, a 20? Are you going to do a 34, a 17L? Hey, you're doing the 43. Are you also going to do a 48? We'd love to do all of them, but we need to make sure that we're not moving too quickly, that we overextend our machines, overextend our logistics chain, and make sure that we can actually sell what we're making. For example, we saw this with colors. We thought people would like blue raspberry as a color. Nope. It barely ever sold. We thought bazooka pink was going to work out great with, girly shooters. Nope. They love Sig Pink. They do not like bazooka pink. So it was just that particular shade of pink that we never sold any of. Robin's Egg Blue. It looks kind of like a Tiffany blue. Some people told us they loved it. Never bought it. They loved the color, but they never bought it. So it's like, well, trial and error. You got to go slow and you got to see what's worth investing in. Oh, that's fair, yeah. The job market there is good, but I'd say stay in like maybe upstate New York, far away from New York City and Albany. Hey, Focus, what's going on, man? McMahon! Yeah, Alan, we have 19 slides, and the 19 could fit on the 19X. This is a 19 slide right here. Ooh. We used to be up near Rochester and Buffalo. I'm liking the turntable. I think the turntable was a good idea. But yep, that is our 26 there. And it's getting closer. I wanted to just show it off to you guys because freaking 26. We're almost ready. Almost ready to pump it out. Oh, let's see. Where were we sending this slide off to? I got that one from Maryland. I'm about to send one out to Virginia. And that's what's cool is we've sent a slide off to every single state at this point. Every single state and most of the territories. I hate it when people buy stuff like right before midnight. Because then it's like you don't doing your one-day shipping if you don't ship it out the very next day. Unless it's on a weekend, thankfully. Because then it gives you till Monday. But then people can be like, hey, you didn't ship it out the very next day. I'm like, dude, you ordered it at 11:30 at night. What's wrong with you? Of course, it didn't ship out the very next morning. Silliness. Well, everyone thinks everybody's Amazon, so there's that. Which is unfortunate. I wish I had Amazon warehouse factories with Stiffler slides in every state. Any other design? Which one can you recommend for the 19? Depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for a ported slide or a standard slide? Have a good one, Bill. Yeah, well, Not quite battle worn, because we have done battle worn. Battle worn is a simulated Cerakote distressing. Space worn is simulated stainless distressing, where we distress the Cerakote so that the stainless steel shows through. Any design works. Oh, you want to do both? Okay, so for let's start with standard. So this one here is a zoom, front grip serrations, optics cut. It's our least expensive model. It's simple. It's simple and it's effective. If you want to go a step up, you can get the Hellet, which has top grip serrations, a little bit of side design work, you know, for a little bit of extra grip just in case. But the zoom is a good solid way to go. When it comes to porting, the question is, are you looking for a lighter ported slide or a standard ported slide? So lighter, where you might need a lighter recoil spring assembly, go with the Viper. Additionally, this gives you other options for porting your barrel, because there's 3 windows. Some people like the lighter slide so they can cycle faster, but that's going to require, you to build your slide correctly. The turbo here, top ported window, front grip serrations, simple. Also a turbo. You got your front grip, you've got your ported window, simple, it works. And because the zoom, if you're looking for something stylish, the zoom has more surface area to play with because there's no porting and there's no additional grip. So we can do more stenciling work easily with the zoom. So there's more options for the zoom on stenciling. It's a little harder to do stenciling on the Viper because of all the windows. Oh yeah, that's great. I've got 800 rounds through that one. Love it. I carry it with me. Just got to focus on our sales, focus. Like, we got a 20% off one right now on red, white, and blue slides because Veterans Day coming up. Yep, this is our OD camo. We've also got a couple other camos. A winter camo, a green camo. There's a blackish style camo. But yeah, the OD green is nice. Yeah, it's like a woodland green, this OD camo here, a winter camo, and then there's this other one where it's like black, desert sand, and Glock FDE. Oh, fair enough, focus. Yep. With Veterans Day, we're doing 20% off our USMC red, Arctic white, and NRA blue slides. There we go. Let's get that shipping label printed out. Oh yeah, it's great. It's mil-spec OD green combined with desert sand and Glock FDE. Oh, that's really easy, man. Just get PSA dagger lowers. I know those aren't for everybody, but the tan frame on the dagger looks great with this slide. Or you find yourself a nice Cerakote company, you know, who's okay with spraying slides, that they can accept them, you know, FFL, and, you know, let them spray them whatever color you want. The only thing they're going to ask you to do is remove your parts kit. Right on. Is that a Gen 4 or Gen 5 fit? Alan, these are Gen 3s, but you can fit Gen 3s on Gen 4 and on Gen 5, as well as the X. Mostly what you're changing out is the back plate, but, you know, if you're going Gen 3 to Gen 4 or Gen 4 to Gen 3, you might need your recoil spring adapter. But usually all you're changing out is the back plate. And then with Gen 5, you may or may not, depends on your build, depends on how it fits, change out that ambi slide stop. Oh, there we go, back again. Oh, with a skull plate? Yeah. Yeah, we've seen people change out the back plates with those. Oh, here we go. This is one of the ones I'm about to ship out. So, a Stiffler Manufacturing slide on individual sales will get shipped out in a plastic box, wrapped in bubble wrap, and then it'll, of course, get wrapped in a polymer bag that's going to protect it from shock during shipping, as well as moisture. You get our little tips card. Which, by the way, if you're not going to Loctite your RMR plate down, like you're planning on putting an optic on it, make sure to tighten down your screws, because during shooting they will loosen. Same thing for your optic. If you never used one before, shooting, unless you Loctite it, and even then, you are going to loosen your screws. You're going to have to tighten them after each range trip. Here we go, one of our NRA blues. NRA Blue SM19 Turbo Slide. I'm about to ship this out to Virginia. So let's wrap that back up in its bubble wrap. Get a little tip card back in there. Oh, yeah. I actually thought the periwinkle was better, but people just didn't like it as much. Now we seal the slide box shut. And we'll get this put in bubble wrap again, right here. Let's get our little packing slip. Let's check this again. Yep, going off to Virginia. Yep, going off to Virginia. Yep, customer name. Always double and triple check. Seal that shut. Tape that shut again. Why? Because I don't trust the Postal Service. They're not very gentle. And let's get our little polymer bag to protect everything from moisture. Because, you know, sometimes packages get left in the rain. It happens. And then we'll pop on one of our little fragile stickers. If you get that joke, congratulations. We're all old and we all watched the same Christmas movie. Right on, McMahon. You have a good one. Oh, definitely, Focus. Definitely. You know, we used to have this one called Cobalt Kinetic Green. Very nice, like a metallic OD green. Did not sell very well, unfortunately. But one guy used a lot of copper-coated accessories, and it looked freaking amazing. Yeah, I thought Cobalt Kinetics Green was great, because it was just like, imagine mil-spec OD green, but with some metallic flake in it. It looked outstanding. And always, always, always tape your seams. Why? Because I don't trust shipping. And there we go. All packaged and ready to go off to Virginia. What would look cool is an FDE graphite splatter. And we might have something a little similar to that. It's our camo, where it's graphite black, FDE, and I think there's some desert sand in there with it. Let's see. Make sure I'm not running out of time here. We've got a... Oh, no, absolutely not. Every now and then on the eBay, we allow offers. And then there's always somebody on there who's like, hey, can I buy your slide for 25 bucks? No, you cannot. Don't insult us. Go buy some 416R trash. Do not insult me, sir, for your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries. Oh, yep, I do got to get going. Okay, so I have to go off to the post office and not be late for a family event. So this is where I'm going to cut it. Thank you guys so much for chilling with us and hanging out and checking out our slides and our new 26. which I lost it. There we go. SM26 Turbo. It's coming out soon, so keep an eye out for it. And thank you guys so much, and as always, stay 2A every day.